But I think it's important to realize too that all happiness is just the gap between expectations and reality. I think there's a couple of things. One is empathy, because there are areas in life where particularly a lot of people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s are falling behind relative to previous generations, particularly something like home ownership,
Hmm.
where it was more attainable in previous generations than it has been, particularly in the last couple of years.
And also for people that thought they were going to be able to retire at a certain age, and then the cost of living has gone up so much, or medical bills are at a certain state that you're realizing, oh my God, I don't have enough money
Right.
to be able to retire. And so it is important to basically go, these are very real feelings that people have right now. And so if we start with empathy, where do we go next, Morgan?
Well, I think you start with empathy because if somebody feels like they're falling behind, that's their truth. But I think it's important to realize too that all happiness is just the gap between expectations and reality. Is the gap between expectations and reality. In between there is where you can find some level of happiness. And the wider that gap is, the more miserable you're going to feel.
Okay, so let's talk about somebody who is in a situation where they thought they would be further along with their savings and they're starting to panic because they're worried that their money's going to run out before they die or they're not going to be able to retire.
This is
Okay.
not black and white, but there are a lot of these cases, I would say the majority of these cases, where the reason that person has not been able to save as much as they thought is because their expectations for many years probably have been spiraling out of control. And they were spending more money than they should have been because they were trying to chase who they wanted to be, even if it wasn't necessarily the level of lifestyle that they could afford. And so they were renting an apartment that was very nice because they had an expectation that that's where they should be. And they were comparing themselves to other people, even if it was kind of out of their budget. They were traveling and dressing and eating out in a way because that's who they felt that they should be, even if they couldn't necessarily afford it. I'm calling everybody out.
Yes.
I've been in this situation too. When have my expectations spiraled out of control? No one is immune to this. So there's nothing to be ashamed of
So
here.
there's a little bit of because just in full disclosure, I entered my marriage with $10,000 of credit card debt that my husband did not know about and then proceeded to hide it from him.
Yep.
But the truth is, I just walked my credit card into stores and bought stuff I didn't need with money I didn't have.
Right.
And then even if I look at what happened to my husband and I when I was 41 years old and his restaurants were going under and taking our house and our entire life savings with it, the truth is we did spend a lot of money we didn't have.
Yeah.
We did rack up that debt. And I remember several years later, as we were starting to climb our way out, there was a level of relief when I could say to myself both, I'm responsible for this mess